going rather well. There were moments when I really thought I was in the zone. I was coming up with some interesting things just off the cuff, on the fly, until of course I completely lost the plot and dropped the ball big time. Yeah, maybe that happens. And so now you must be thinking, what does all of this have to do with reading music? Classical music, perhaps more connected with the process of reading than many other forms of music. Now, I'm a terrible reader. I'm really slow. It takes me hours to decode a piece such as this, and the only way I'm managing to find my way to this one is it's because it's got both the notation and the tab. But, however, what I do find is that when I sit down with a piece of music like this and try and read it, my level of focus in translating this jumble of dots and numbers into music on the guitar is very often an order of magnitude higher than it is when I'm just jamming, practicing, working with a backing track, or even sometimes playing on stage. There's something about that. There's something about that that's really important. Musicians, and perhaps especially ones that play improvised music, will often talk about this thing called the zone. And when I talk about it sometimes with my students, I get the impression that many people think of it as some magical, mystical mind space continuum where, as a performer, you're able to play anything, and you just tapped into some celestial muse, some conduit to the musical energy of the universe, and you can invent fantastic new licks, play anything you want, and nothing can go wrong. Well, it's some of that is actually true, and the weird thing about the zone is that apart from all the magical, mystical stuff, it is actually to my mind, it is a state of mind that people who practice transcendental meditation, or just meditation in general, have perhaps known about for centuries. A certain blankness, a certain absence of thought, a certain absence of any kind of wandering of the mind. And we all know how much our minds actually wander through the course of a day, right? We may be trying to do something that requires a lot of focus and concentration. And very often our minds are thinking about what we just had for lunch, or oh God, we got to pay that bill, or whatever it is. I mean, the mind is really, really slippery and hard to tie down and hard to bring to this space of stillness and quiet. Well, the zone is, to my mind again, the zone are those moments when you're able to pull this off, when you're able to generate that particular stillness when you're on stage or performing, when all the stuff that you've practiced, all the scales and chords and licks and patterns and connections, all of that is no longer something that you're recalling or remembering. It is coming from something that they all become things that you just know, and you're able to pull from that knowledge and integrate and transform and make into something spectacular and beautiful just on the spot, and have this ability to do that without ever making anything that sounds like a bad choice, to avoid the word wrong. I was watching a video of the great Corea talking about this recently, and he makes a really fine distinction between remembering and knowing. You should watch that video. There's a link in the box below. So yes, this state of mind, this state of blankness, this state of extreme focus is something that musicians search for very hard. And this is where, again, in my opinion, this is where reading can help. When you're reading, when you're in front of that page trying to, do those multiple parallel processing things, trying to get the music out of that page, I find that your mind is forced into being in that one space, into being in that one extremely focused activity, right? And just like everything else, this singleness of mind needs to be practiced. And unless you also follow, unless you're also into meditation and all of those things, this might be just a really good way to meditate, reading. It really could be a simple, easy to do thing that you do a few minutes every day, and that becomes like an exercise, a practice in developing this singleness of mind. And I find that over time, this practice that you put in developing focus and singleness of mind just helps in transporting you to that mystical zone when you need it. So I have experienced being in that zone a few times. Yes, it's a slippery thing by itself as well, and it's hard to find it. But when you do, the experience is something, it's addictive. You just want to get back in there. I don't know about you guitar players out there, but I've been a worse than mediocre reader of music from the very beginning. And it's only across the last few years when I started thinking about it in this way that perhaps I've improved a little bit in terms of my reading, but I do know that it has definitely helped with this other aspect of practicing focus and just working with that singleness of mind. So yeah, so go ahead, try it out, see if it helps, and if you've got other ideas, let me know what you guys use to help you develop this singleness of mind, this focus, this in this search for better ways to be in that zone.